Hi guys, how you doing? Senior Gaming here and I'm bringing you Pixel Fantasia with Attribute Explained. So if you're Pixel Fantasia player or perhaps idle gamer, then make sure you subscribe to the channel as I post as often as possible and bring you best tips and advice. And if you enjoy what you see, then smash this like button as well. Right then guys, so I'm bringing you another great system that will highly influence your overall power, and this can be found in a growth section. So as you see, I already got it sort of highlighted here. So from a main menu on the bottom, we tap in on the growth again, and the last tab, attribute, which is highlighted in red. So I'm just gonna very briefly talk about this system, and then most importantly we need to talk about the resources and how to get it in order to start investing points in here. So first thing definitely stands out, we've got three different tabs. So you've got a growth, items and a spirit section, and the main area that you want to focus basically here is gonna be how to get these elixirs. So as the three tabs represent, you also got sort of indication of three different elixirs at the top. So you got elixir of spirit here, equipment, and finally growth. So let me show you how you can get these elixirs, and then shortly after we're gonna come back to this very screen. So out of growth, main menu, and we're gonna head over into a blacksmith itself, and pretty much your very first tab, material, this is where we're gonna get elixirs. So as seen just a second ago, we've got three to select from. And let's talk about a required materials, because basically the moment you've got materials, you'll be able to craft these elixirs and then start investing in attribute system. So we will always need a purified souls. In order to get purified souls, as you see, you can drop them out right from a field, or you can get it via other method. And this method is going to be always pretty much via certain coupons or events. And purified soul is going to be one of the most wanted resources in the game, so I would always encourage you, if you got a chance, try to get them via different ways at all cost. Then we're gonna need a mana catalyst. Again, this can be dropped out of field, and I'll show you that in just a second, or you can actually go to blacksmith and craft it. So if you actually tap on a resource, this is where you will be able to craft a mana as well as elemental catalyst that you're gonna see that you're gonna need in just a second anyway. But I don't really recommend crafting this, as again you will be using some of this precious currency, and again you will be using souls that you need at all time. So coming back to a material, so elixir of equipment we covered two, and the last one is magic stone, and that will be dropping in absolutely great amounts from a field itself. You can also get it from a magic stone mine, as you see on the screen. Right, so talking about mana catalyst and talking about souls in the first place. So if we just tap back and go into a main screen, if I tap on a current stage I'm grinding, which is hard at 19.1, here obviously you got a list of the items you are able to drop. And if you go all the way to the right, this will show you what items you can drop when it comes to these resources. So you got a small chance, but if you do so, you're gonna drop 74 souls at once, and then you got a chance of getting mana catalyst that we just discussed. And the next one I'm gonna show you anyway is gonna be elemental catalyst. So in here, you'll be able to drop two of these catalyst items and purified souls. So coming back to a blacksmith now, talking about elixir of spirit now, very same principle, purified souls, catalyst we have just mentioned, and again spirit stone will be dropped from sealed ruins, which can be found via dungeon and a basic dungeon. This can be grinded on daily basis. And finally elixir of growth, again we go in with the souls. In here we actually do not use catalyst, we use adventurous token. Again you'll be able to get it, as you see, from reputable missions as well as shop and certain events. And finally a slime piece, we're talking again about a basic dungeon, so again you'll be limited on how much of this resource you'll be able to get. So looking at this very free, elixir of equipment is the easiest to get when it comes to required material, and actually there is a great news, because this attribute boosting our damage, and you should always have this on a highest level. When it comes to spirit and growth, there is a little bit harder to do so, but obviously nevertheless you'll be able to slowly grind these very elixirs. Okay, so coming back now to a system itself, attribute, as mentioned earlier, three different sections. So the growth is the very first one, and basically every single time you've got elixirs, you will be pretty much leveling up the main area here. as you're gonna keep progressing with the levels, there will be more of these resources required in order to level up. And then once you do level up, then you will have these growth attribute points to be distributed. To start off, especially if you just unlock this system, I would recommend to go with as much offensive stats as possible. But in the later stages, like myself now, you can actually have more points, but you are unable to add them basically to grid of the skills because you haven't reached a certain level. So what I mean, as you see, I have managed to squeeze this very increased HP to level 28, then I have managed to squeeze all of these skills, which is great damage boosters, to level 14, because this is a max level currently as it stands. And bear in mind, increasing stats in this very system will massively boost your overall power, so you should not hesitate and try to craft these elixirs and invest in this system as soon as possible. So basically, where I'm currently limited with is the next skill actually need some of these skills increased to a next level. So as you see, I'm talking here level 15, and this is currently on 14. And the reason for it is because my main level, it's not high enough. As it states pretty much in a top corner here, every level 50 max attribute level increases. So basically the next mission and a milestone for me is to get that to level 150 as soon as possible. This more likely then turn into a level 30 max, and this will be level 15. And therefore I will be then able to go and start investing in a second row. There is a completely different scenario with Elixir of Equipment, as mentioned. We got most of it, and it's absolutely great because this one is actually responsible for damage. So just very quickly coming back, this one will give us HP and HP regen on a basic stat. This one is damage, and finally Spirit will give us skill attack. So just coming and flicking back very quickly here. Again, this is one of the easiest to craft, and you should definitely invest in this area as soon as possible. The main principle, he will boost massively damage. Then we've got few defensive stats, and then we've got many of extra damage boosters. So I wouldn't hesitate and try to craft as many of these elixirs as possible. And a very similar principle with Spirit, I need that now on level 150 in order to start unlocking a second tier. Bear in mind, when it comes to a Spirit one, this is a great recommendation to obviously increase your overall skill damage and then select one of these elements. Especially if you're gonna run this with a certain aura, which will help you to grind monsters. Whatever you decide to select as a first skills, it's something that you should prioritize, but later on you want to add points in the remaining skills, because despite if you're using it or not, you will see there will be a certain growth still allocated from these very stats. So as you currently see, I have managed to pretty much squeeze every single one of these skills to a max level. Only with the items one, I've actually got some spare points, so I need now more resource in order to keep progressing. And as you see, this is a great mixture of defense as well as offense, but if I had a choice, I would always prioritize a certain paths that I can then start increasing obviously attack itself. Bear in mind, you might be able to allocate these stats different to start off. At any given point, nothing to worry about. Hit that reset button, it will cost you a 3000 rubies, and then you can start allocating them once again. So great system. I would not hesitate, if you've got some of these materials already banked up, go and craft it via blacksmith, or if you got any events running currently or in the future, you should always try to scoop as many as you can, especially these more rare one, growth and spirit items itself. You'll be able to keep crafting on daily basis and therefore keep strengthening your character. Thank you very much guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.